Hello? Hello? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Curiosity Cove. My name is Veda. Today we're joined by a special guest.
Hi, it is me. I am D.vo.
And today we're going to be talking about cryptids. So, yeah.
I also am known as a cryptid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, D.vo is
I,
considered a cryptid among our friend group.
I tend to be told I stalk the lands of Wyoming.
Why Wyoming?
I don't know. I just picked the state.
Oh, just
There's
like a
nothing.
random. There's no special.
No,
Like,
there's like the one thing Wyoming has going for it is cattle and Devil's Tower. Like they don't got anything else. Okay.
okay. I mean, I guess that's fair. Wyoming's actually super pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty
Yeah.
boring.
No, it's got like a lot of nature and stuff.
Fine, I guess.
But I guess that means it wouldn't be a bad place to like it to stalk, I guess. Do you like you lurk, right? That's like the whole thing.
Yeah, live, laugh, lurk.
Yeah, I live left. That's still hanging above my like above the entranceway or whatever.
I think I have one similar to that actually.
Yeah.
Um, mhm,
Yeah.
but we can.
But how was your day?
Today is a day.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah,
Some
I
people don't
woke
think
up
it
late.
be like that, but it do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, mine was I was supposed to work today and then I had like an allergy attack that kept me up all night, like until 4 in the morning. So I was at that point I had been up for 24 hours almost, so I was like, hey, I'm not coming in today. And then I had an allergy attack like lasting all the way from last night at almost midnight till like 10 o'clock. Um, and then I just kind of gamed all day instead, which was nice.
Nice.
I also
I
did my
wish I could
notes
have
for
came all
this
day.
podcast today because
I
I'm a
mean, it happens.
yeah, I'm a master of procrastinating.
Same.
um, well, before we get started, we have two things. Instead of a word of the day today, I decided that we'll just define cryptid for maybe anybody who doesn't know what it is. Um,
Hmm.
Cryptids are essentially creatures that are found in stories, mythology, folklore, tall tales, whatever you want to call them. Some people believe they exist or say they have seen them. There's usually reported claims. However, there's no scientific evidence that proves that they do exist. That's the gist of it. Like Santa Claus. Is he technically a cryptid?
Uh, uh, yeah, maybe.
He could be. What's stopping him, really? But yeah, I think we're gonna be essentially handling two cryptids today. Um, I think I'm going first. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Do
you're
you
going.
do you want to save your reveal for when you go?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We have a very exciting visual reveal.
yeah.
That we'll go ahead and save. Okay, so
Really,
I
really quick.
mhm.
The just it's just because it amuses me, like the juxtaposition of how nice and detailed your your PNG is, and then my very cartoony one is just like this isn't even
Yeah, but
accurate.
it's funny because Chalky has like a really like graphic art esque like 3D almost cloud and like a cat pops up. So when she's on the podcast with us for our league podcast, it's so funny because like here's our two that like almost blend in with the background and the other assets that we have on the stream. And then hers is just like this adorable like Lisa Frank looking cloud. And it's just in the middle of us. It's so cute. But that's cool. I like your PNG. I think you did a good job on it.
Yeah, I've stared at it a little bit earlier and I was like, should I make big changes to this or just uh not or leave it the way it is?
No, I think it's fitting.
Yeah.
I think it's very fitting. Um, but yeah, it is funny to like see a side by side and how different they are. If we ever get like Tomo or Matt on here, it'll be extra funny because I think me and Cap did Tomo's PNG, and then Cap did
Mm.
Matt's PNG. Tomo's is like an egg, and when he speaks, the egg pops up, and it's like a little maroon chick inside the egg. But the egg also has
Mm.
overalls on, so it's like
Oh my god. Of course it does.
it's very funny. Um, but yeah, I love it when there's like a whole like wide variety of people on screen, different styles and vibes.
It does add to the I don't I don't know, it's like a adds
Individuality.
to the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Yeah. Gives like a little sense of individuality. Um okay. So the Loch Ness Monster is what I am covering today. Good old Nessie. And I learned that Nessie's history is not only very, very long, but very, like, dramatic. Uh,
oh.
yeah, but, like, not in the way that you would think. So it starts in old, like, Scottish territory. And
Mhm.
the reason I don't say Scotland is because it wasn't yet Scotland. It was somewhere around uh, the early ADs, maybe 590s.
Oh, so like it's like when the Picts were still there.
And that's exactly it, because that's what it begins with, is the Picts. So the Picts were an ancient civilization. They were known for their beautiful carved memorial stones and crosses, and they were believed to speak a Celtic language, and they were first noticed by the Romans, with whom they had like a very continuous rivalry, to say the least. They were like constantly
Mhm.
at war with one another, and eventually, when King Kenneth the First MacAlpin became their king in 843 AD, they were united under Alba, right?
I
I think
don't
Alba was what Scotland was back when he was ruling. Um,
I I don't know the specifics for that.
Yeah, so
I'll trust you.
King Kenneth MacAlpin, he was the king of the Scots, and essentially the Picts started to recognize him as their king as well, meaning the Scots and the Picts were united under one banner, and I believe that banner was for Alba, and Alba later on became Scotland. So their writings are the first known, like quote unquote known recording, or their carvings, I should say, because it was basically just a picture depicting like a beast with large flippers on it. And some people looking back at history believe that to be just because of the area, how close they were to what would eventually become Loch Ness. Just people assumed that that was like the first etching of like the Loch Ness monster. Um, the first like bona fide written recording of the Loch Ness monster was in the biography of Saint Columba. So Saint Columba was an Irish saint who was essentially like the catalyst for the conversion of Scotland to Christianity. Um,
Gross.
yeah, well, to each their own. But according to Saint Columba's biography, there was an incident in which somewhere around 565 AD, there was a monster who bit a swimmer in what would now be Loch Ness. And Columbia stepped in before it could attack another man, and basically said, "Yo, get out of here." And the beast obeyed Columbia and like crawled back into the sea, like retreated. Um, so over the following centuries, there would be a bunch of sightings of this, unknown serpent sea creature just wandering the same kind of general area that was or is Loch Ness. Um, the majority of these would essentially be tied to Scottish folklore, because people would essentially compare it to some sort of mythological sea creature that does already exist in Scottish folklore, because there's a shit ton of them. But essentially people would continue to kind of like see it here and there, but then in the 1930s the legend of the Loch Ness monster was like in full swing. Around 1933, I think it was in April, and it was put into the newspaper in May, but they constructed a road that ran adjacent to the loch, or the lake. Is loch the word for lake?
Yes.
Okay. So I when I was writing this, I was like, is loch not just lake? Like, is it not just Lake Ness? Is that like not?
Yeah, it's essentially
Yeah.
like the remnants of holding on to Celtic languages and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. Well, because I was gonna say everything was calling it Loch Ness, but then when it would refer to it like, I don't know what the grammatical word is for it when you refer to like a subject and then you say it or the or he, she after you've referred to it. So like,
Sorry, I only caught like part of that. So what did you ask?
so you know when you're talking, and like the grammatically like correct way to do it is like I would say, D.vo and I went to the store, and then because I've already referred to you, I would say he bought Cosmic Crisp apples, and I bought
the superior apple.
I actually had one yesterday. I don't think I like them. I don't. I think I'm a jazz apple kind of gal.
Breaking regulation, but okay.
But yeah, I don't know what that term is, but whatever they were doing in like all of these things that I was reading, they would say blah 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 Loch Ness, da da da, the lake, and I was like, so it's just a lake. There's no special thing about a loch.
Yeah, no, it's just another word for lake.
It's dumb. It's not dumb. It's culturally different, and I recognize that. I'm just ethnocentric because I'm American.
Don't you want to go spend a weekend at the Great Locks?
Stop, Loch, Michigan, bro.
Yeah, you know, Loch Superior.
Yeah, Loch Erie. I went down to Georgia one time and visited Loch George.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so anyways, the lake essentially had like a road that was constructed in the 1930s that ran right alongside it, and so it gave not a full view but a partial view of the lake. It was kind of like an obstructed view, and essentially what happened was shortly after the road was constructed, this couple was driving along it, and the story kind of goes along the lines of like a dragon or a prehistoric looking monster ran across the street in front of our car and then immediately retreated into Loch Ness. And this was like just words, like no, like there was no picture evidence, no other witnesses. It was just the two of them. And so they said this, and then the newspaper went crazy. I believe it was published in Daily Mail, and the headline of it was in May of 1933, and the headline was "Strange Spectacle on Loch Ness. What was it?" And so the story was printed, and from there it took off. Everybody was seeing the Loch Ness monster. Because, you know, of course,
chaos.
Yes, once one person sees it, it's kind of like Bigfoot, where it's like every decade or so, somebody like thinks that they saw a Bigfoot, and they have like some weird non-specific image of what could have been anything, like the tail end of a bear behind a tree, but no, obviously this is Bigfoot. And then over the next like year,
no, this is Patrick.
over the next year, like 30 people will have seen Bigfoot if you ask them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like one of those crazes. So all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people started saying like, "Oh, this is like something I've seen. Oh, this is a sighting that I had." And they're all typically like, "Oh, I was driving past and I saw this thing in the lake," or like, "Oh, we were, walking like around Loch Ness and we saw this thing in the tree line." Like there were so many different iterations of basically like, we saw this dinosaur looking thing and it was in the water and it had a long neck and blah blah blah. So the Daily Mail in December of that year, December 33, they hired a famous hunter named Marmaduke Wetherell to locate Nessie. They were like, "Marmaduke, listen, this thing has been terror." I know, it's a funny name. I just think of the dog.
There's something a little funny to me that both of our things have someone with a strange name.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know the entire history of yours, so I think I know who you're talking about.
Maybe.
That's hometown hero, but okay, neighbor hometown hero. But so okay, so the Daily Mail brings out Marmaduke Wetherell, and they're like, "Listen, Marmaduke, we have been terrorized, but I have to get through this, Devin. I can't. I have to get through this." So they say, "Listen, we've got this thing. Nobody knows exactly what it looks like. Nobody can tell us how big it is. No one can tell us how much it looks like it weighs. It's terrorized a whole bunch of people. Here's the reportings of like all of the people who have supposedly seen it. Can you find it?" And Marmaduke Wetherell was like, "I am a big game hunter. If you send me out to that lake, I will find this monster and I will tell you how much it weighs. I will tell you how long it is, blah, 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 blah." So they send him down there, right? And he was put in a specific area where most sightings had taken place. And he finds footprints. And these footprints are along the shore. And they're very, like, oddly shaped footprints. They're pretty big. But they are kind of spread out as well. So he basically gets in his head, like, "Oh, these are probably the footprints that belong to, some sort of powerful but soft-footed animal because they weren't deep enough." So he was like, it would make sense because if the Loch Ness monster has, flippers, it's not going to dig into the sand like how a bear's foot would. So my guess is that this is probably, due to the space between them, this is probably a 6 meter long, 20 feet for those who don't know how to convert it. This is probably a 6 meter long animal with soft feet, and it's going to be a powerful animal. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, you found it. You figured it out. Marmaduke Wetherell, you're a genius." Until the Natural History Museum later clarified when they took a look at the footprints that they were identical to ashtrays that were made from hippo legs. I looked this up. It is a thing. In the 30s, there were these ashtrays that at the bottom would be a hippo foot. Like it would be like they stuffed, like taxidermied the foot of a hippo, typically baby hippos, and then just plopped an ashtray right on top of it. So the footprints that he was seeing were most likely the indentations or like caused by like hippopotamus feet because people were bringing these to the beach because they were on the bottom of ashtrays and they were also on the bottom of umbrella stands. Why? I don't know. I can't. I tried so hard to look into the history of why they were making these things from like animal feet because I think that's really gnarly and like I would never personally own one, but it just makes me think of like those like Florida beach houses that are like neon and they have like the safari theme in it with neon walls for some reason.
Maybe.
That's what I think of. It's like the stereotypical, like, you walk in, it's like a flamingo neon sign that's like, the party's here, and then they've got like fake plants everywhere, and they've got like all of these like animal prints, or like these like almost like safari looking memorabilia things. Maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just something I know of, or like I've noticed.
I personally have never been to a Florida beach house.
They're wild. There's like a lot of obsession with like pink and coral. And then there's like, for some odd reason, there's always like a whole bunch of plants that would like never be on a beach. And there's like a whole bunch of like animal print and stuff. I bet you I could find one. It's because they look crazy. Interior. And I'll send it to you if I can. But the whole thing was this guy came, Marmaduke came out here, and they were like, stop laughing at it. It's just his name, bro.
I'm sorry. I also keep thinking of the dog.
Sorry,
it's just a Great Dane being like, I can find this monster.
No, that's Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster is actually a thing. But where was I? Yes, okay. So they figure out like, hey, these footprints that you're seeing, they're not what you think they are. Here's what they really are. Yeah, he just lied. He just saw it and he knew what it was, and he's like, this is your monster. And he never gave a reason as to why he like decided to go along with it. I don't know if it's maybe just like he wanted the recognition or whatever it might be. But yeah, he was just, it wasn't true. It was just him saying, yeah, this is the first thing I have found that could be explained. This is probably your monster. Also, I sent you a DM of what the design that I'm looking at.
God.
Yeah. So
I could
that's what it
definitely
reminds
see
me
a
of.
hippo ashtray.
Yeah. Like being in the center of one of these tables or something.
Yeah, like if this was in like the 70s, definitely.
Oh yeah, and it's very much like always like 70s-esque themed, or like the colors or whatever. It's just, it looks like a grandma rented out her house in Florida to people. Like that's always what I think about. For those of you who are watching along, I am posting the reference of Florida beach house vibes in on topic discussion. But it's just so funny to me to think about like an ashtray hippo, like I'll post a picture of that too, because it's like funny looking, because it's just like this little like hippo, like, and then like an ashtray on top of it, and it just makes no sense whatsoever for it to exist, but it does. But yeah, this is what was behind the Loch Ness footprints of December of 1933. I'll send this one to you too.
Oh boy. Oh my god.
It looks insane, right?
It honestly looks worse than what it did in my head. Like I thought it got cut off like right above the toes, and like that was turned into the ashtray. Like...
No, it's the whole foot.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, and so that's what was causing this commotion. So they basically disproved that, and then in the next year, there was this like kind of mass bewilderment, because there was a photograph taken, and if you have ever seen the iconic photograph from the 30s of the Loch Ness Monster, which I will also be sharing, it is the like epitome of, oh my god, something is in the lake. It's called Surgeon's Photograph, and the reason is because the person who took it was named Robert Kenneth Wilson, and he was a physician from England. And it is in reference to the history of the Loch Ness monster, it is the biggest thing that ever happened because it showed the neck and the head of the serpent, and it was completely clear that there was something in the water, and it was like inexplicable at that time. And I thought really hard about this. What if you had been hearing, if you lived in the 30s and you had been hearing about the Loch Ness monster and you saw this, like what would be your thought?
Given I Okay, so let me rewind myself back to like 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
um, I would probably believe it.
I think I would too. I think I would see that and I would go, "Oh, holy shit, those people aren't crazy." That's like a thing. It's like a whole thing. Because there was no way to, cuz this is why I thought about it. Today, you could lead, like you could just say that's totally doctored.
Well,
And
see, that's the thing I was thinking was like looking at this picture for the first time in a while. The Granted, it is a lake, and the waves are going to be like a lot bigger and everything,
yeah.
but it literally looks like a picture of a toy just stuck in the water, like
Yeah.
in a shallow spot. It's like, okay, all right, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
No one will know.
It's funny that you say that. But at the time this was released because it was published by the Daily Mail, and people were like, "Holy shit, this is real." Not only is it real, but we can now decipher from the look of it, this is a plesiosaur. And for those of you who don't know, about 65.5 million years prior, there was a prehistoric reptile called a plesiosaur, which basically looked like, what's that Pokemon?
Uh,
Lapras.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Which basically looked like, I just didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Which
I
looks
honestly I couldn't remember what a plesiosaur looked like, so I was like,
um a a plesiosaur, or plesiosaurus, if you will, is essentially like a, I mean, it's like Lapras, but it's a long necked like body of a uh turtle kind of shape, because it's got the same kind of like fins, you know? And it's got an extremely long neck, razor sharp teeth, kind of like a dinosaur esque looking face. And this is what people thought it was, because from that picture, it was like the easiest thing to deduce was like, oh, this is definitely, from the fossils in the world and like the imaginations of what they used to look like. This totally makes sense. However, what followed was a mass entrance of monster hunters from all over the world. They swarmed the area. They were looking for footprints, they were doing stakeouts, they were camping. Loch Ness was full of these monster hunters all the time, and they just wanted to find more proof. They wanted to find Loch Ness. They wanted to essentially haul it up for, tests and research and whatever else. And then you had the other side of people who were like, no, this is possibly the last plesiosaur in the world. We have to protect this thing. So there was a lot of shit between 1934 and 1994, which is the next stop in our timeline. A lot of sightings, a lot of claims, but there was never any sufficient evidence, and there was never any ability to actually locate Nessie. Amongst all of these people who visited in this 60-year span, nobody was able to, like, in person physically go, there it is, let's get it. A lot of people said she probably doesn't come out when there's a whole bunch of people around. So she probably went underwater and stayed dormant, because why would you, if 250 people were outside your home every day, would you really want to leave it? Probably not.
I mean, I
Um
wouldn't want to be there.
I
Um,
I I would take a nice vacation. I would hop over to, I don't know, the Baltic Sea. Where's the Baltic Sea?
mm, it's a
I
good
think
question.
I'm wrong about how close it is, but um
It's I mean, no, that's like uh Scandinavia.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, the North Sea is the one I'm thinking of. The Baltic is on the other side of like Denmark and Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would be taking a nice I would like migrate over and maybe go to maybe check out the North Sea or something, you know? Maybe go to a
Go to
different.
Iceland.
Hmm?
Go to Iceland.
Yeah, go to Iceland. Could be fun.
Iceland's pretty.
Yeah, Iceland's cool. Um
It's not that far from Scotland, you know.
or go to Loch Levin or whatever the other one is. I don't remember any of the other loch names. Um but yeah, so 1994 is kind of where the story takes a shift because essentially even though it didn't do anything to stop it, in 1994 it was revealed that the surgeon's photograph was actually a hoax that Wilson spearheaded. He tied
But
a whole bunch of plastic and wood together and put it on toy submarines to make it look like the Loch Ness monster. And then he stood far away and he photographed it at a specific time so that it would be silhouetted so that nobody could actually tell.
you know, it doesn't feel good to have been right about that.
Yeah, it takes away from the magic a little bit. But that's what it was. It was like it was a whole bunch of trash tied together and then photographed.
Well, damn.
Yep. Um I couldn't find anything. So the big thing that was consistent amongst like um all of the research that I did uh
Mhm.
was that it was faked intentionally um with an elaborate hoax because he was revengeful, but I don't know uh, what about. Like I don't know why he was so keen on making a whole bunch of people believe that the Loch Ness monster was real. Um, I just imagine, I imagine he was like, "Haha, you're so dumb. I'm gonna prove it to you." Maybe.
I mean, I could see that. Just like you guys will believe anything. Watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's it. That's really all I can think of. So I guess that's what I'm gonna go with. Um, but yeah, it was revealed that it was fake. It didn't stop anybody. People were still going crazy. I mean, this was the year I was born, 94 that this happened. And growing up as a kid, the Loch Ness monster was everywhere. I knew about it.
Wait, you know
Everybody
what?
loved it.
I think I left. I think we moved back to America at that time, so me leaving was the cause of this.
Yeah, that's what you think. um well, yeah, the next 20 or so years, 24 years, um people just continued to like Loch Ness monster stories, and it was used in a shit ton of pop culture and stuff. In 2018, they did official DNA tests in Loch Ness to basically get down to the bottom of what kind of organisms could inhabit the water. And there were no signs of plesiosaurs or any large marine animals, but there were a lot of evidence of eels. And eels freak me out because they like spawn into existence, and I think that's
Yeah, they have no common
scary.
ancestor, and that
Right.
bugs me too.
That scares me. I don't understand them. Um,
It's like the platypus. Like there's no common ancestor for those either,
that's so weird.
right?
So yeah, so they just spawn into existence, and a lot of researchers believe that maybe the Loch Ness monster could be an oversized eel. I don't think eels leave the water, so I feel like that would debunk a lot of the claims of seeing it on land. Um, but people just did not give a shit. They were like, "Oh, it's an eel? No, the Loch Ness monster exists." And at this point, it serves as basically like a fun story that Scotland has for a high tourist area. The Loch Ness
It's
monster
just
has contributed a shit ton to their economy through tourism and research and everything. So,
There's a whole ass statue there.
uh-huh, there is a
I want
Loch
to take
Ness
a picture
statue.
with it.
Me too. Took a picture with the Mothman statue.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, I took a look at some of the facts about Loch Ness too, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it makes sense that people were so eager to believe it. Because here's my thing, the Loch Ness monster, when I think of a lake, I it's funny because I live near Lake Michigan, but I don't think of Lake Michigan, right? Because that's a great lake. So right, and this isn't Great Loch Ness, this is Loch Ness. So I didn't
I mean,
think
yeah, if you look at it on a map, you can't even see Loch Ness compared to being able to see Lake Michigan.
right, exactly. So I didn't think that it would be that big. However, the reasons that I think people could easily believe that the Loch Ness monster is real. Ancient civilizations were around this thing, right? So it's not a new body of water. It's been there for a very long time. Um,
Mhm.
of course, we know that the earth is always shifting and land is always changing and everything. So it could have been possible for a new lake to form somewhere in the last, couple hundred years. But this one has been there for a very, very long time, at least 2,000 years. So it's old. And that makes sense that it would be believable that in a very old area, a mythological beast could be roaming. It is also 263 billion cubic feet of water. Uh, to compare it, that is more than the combined amounts of all the lakes in England and Wales put together. So
Damn.
it's pretty fucking big. Um, the water is so deep that it is actually pitch black at the bottom, much like when you reach deep ocean.
Oh
And
yeah.
in the winter, due to its depth, the lake cannot actually freeze over. So it makes sense. Life can inhabit it all year round. It is very, very deep, very old, and very big. So it makes sense to me that people would think that there's something lurking at the bottom there. And I'm just going to say it, for all that we know, there could be. We just don't know, you know?
True.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything that I could find about the Loch Ness monster. And I think the
And
biggest.
like something to add on to that from something I remember as like a possibility. I read one point, um, because you said like, there's been evidence of it for hundreds of years.
Right.
The water level of the lake could have made it to the ocean,
Right.
like because it goes up to Inverness, and
Mm-hmm.
Inverness might not have existed, you know, early like hundreds AD, you know.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is that there's no telling how the land has changed and what could have had access to this lake. That's why they did the DNA testing, I think, because realistically the way that the earth has shifted over the last however many million years, it's possible that something could, I guess, live that long and still be around. Like, I mean, very doubtful. However, we don't know much about what's lurking below the water. We know more now today than we did a long time ago, but considering at the time that the Loch Ness monster became a popularized story or myth, there was just no knowing. We had no idea what was in the bottom of the water at all. I don't even know when we figured out that the Marianas Trench was a thing.
That's fair.
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
asked random fun fact. My ancestors actually have a lot to do with the popular castle that's on that lake also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Urquhart Castle.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was like gifted to us by someone, because we helped. Actually, if I remember correctly from stories my dad told me, my ancestors massacred an entire enemy clan
Oh,
in that castle. So
for sure.
yeah, it was fun.
Dang.
Fun times.
Well, um, for those who are interested in different maybe places that the Loch Ness Monster found its way into. It was featured in Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. They had a whole, a whole Scooby-Doo movie over it. It was also on an episode of The Simpsons called Monty Can't Buy Me Love. It's the 21st episode of the 10th season. And it is, I think it came out in 99, so that would have been about 5 years after the like big boom of Loch Ness from the picture being proven fake and everybody trying to prove that it still did exist. Also, everybody has to remember about Tree Fitty because that's a popular South Park.
God damn Loch Ness Monster.
And then in the first serial of the 13th season of Doctor Who, Loch Ness, it's called Terror of the Zygons. Loch Ness does either gets referenced or makes an appearance. I haven't actually, I don't remember the 13th season.
No idea.
I didn't watch a lot of the early Doctor Who, so I can't even tell you what I've seen, but I know that it aired in 1975. So I don't know who was Doctor at that time, but yes.
I think that isn't. That's not the right series 13.
Tom Baker. Tom
Baker
was the fourth Doctor in 1975.
Okay.
So yeah, during Tom Baker's run, season 13, first episode. Yeah. So those are different places that you can see Loch Ness in pop culture. There are a lot of movies. Like, I couldn't remember. I think it's called The Water Horse. It was like a kids movie about the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I watched it or not, but I
remember seeing it, at least. I feel like it was pretty. I know that there was. I can't remember. There's a second one somewhere in there, but I don't think I've ever watched it. I barely remember the first one.
Oh yeah, I remember this little creepy fucker.
Well, that is all I have for the Loch Ness Monster, so I guess I will turn it over to you now. I'm very excited.
I just wanted to add on one more reference in popular culture.
Okay.
There, in Super Mario, specifically 64, there's a level that has its name isn't. I think at one point it was Nessie, but I think it was too close to the actual thing, and I think someone might have a copyright on that or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also based on the Loch Ness Monster. Her
That's
name is
so
Dory, though.
Nice. Also, another popular reference. I can't believe I'm about to do this. For those of us who are obsessed with vampires, circa 2010, you can never forget. You named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster.
God damn it! I hate that I knew what you were going with. I never watched the rest of those movies. I think I've only seen 2 of them, maybe 3.
Me and little Nessie here. Nessie? You nicknamed my daughter? It's so good.
Oh, God.
Alright, D.vo, what do you got for me?
Oh no, where's my... I have to change my outfit really quick. Just 1 second. Okay, yeah. Alright, so...
It's so good. Can I ask?
There we go. Yeah.
Can I ask where you got the inspiration for the way the wings are designed?
I just kind of free-handed them.
This
I,
is
I
so
didn't really,
perfect.
I really didn't have like I was like, oh hey, I could do this, but then I was like, I have a time crunch and I'm at work and I don't want to put that much effort into it at the moment.
It's so good. No, it's absolutely perfect. I love this.
I just wanted to make it look like I made a costume and am wearing it.
You really showed up dressed the part.
Yeah. Um, I didn't get the antenna headband finished up, but uh, yeah, wasn't able to run to the hobby store. But
Yeah, Michael's was closed when you got off work. So,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, if anyone couldn't tell, I was going to do a presentation on Mothman. Um, because I'm a bit obsessed.
D.vo is the Mothman.
Yeah, to some people, I am the Mothman. Um,
I I have been to the Mothman Museum and is it Point Pleasant, West Virginia?
it is Point Pleasant,
Yeah.
West Virginia. Yes,
I have been to Point Pleasant. I have seen the statue. I've taken a picture with the statue. I love Mothman. I think that I just want to pet him because I think that he's such a goodest boy.
uh, he is a great for because the internet can't, likes to do things with everything. He is a I think he is a bisexual icon in the
Correct.
bi community.
Yes,
Um,
as a bisexual, I can confirm.
I, I've seen, especially on Etsy, there's a lot of, if you look at bumper stickers, there's a lot of like, I don't, like eat ass and vote for Mothman kind of
Right.
things. I don't know why the two are like Mothman ate my ass. I don't know why Mothman's into eating ass, but
I
like
can't
we don't kink shame
explain.
here.
I can't explain anything. All I've got to say is that the gays get the Babadook and we get Mothman.
Yep, okay, that's fair. Um, I'm also just going to slowly like drip feed you images if you wanted to do anything with them.
Would you like me to have them up while you're sharing?
Uh, if you want,
Yeah, we can do
dealer's
that.
choice.
Let me pull this one up and I'll get this going and then I'll just have them up here while you're explaining. Just send me them as you need them posted.
Yeah. Um, so we got the statue
Mm-hmm. Classic.
first and foremost. Um,
It's huge, by the way.
people have been doing weird things to its butt. Um,
Oh, really?
as yeah, like the I think someone posted in one of our Discord servers, but like people have been putting like money in his ass and
That's hysterical.
people leave offerings for him.
That's
But
hysterical, actually.
yeah, I really don't understand the connection between Mothman and butt stuff, but like whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
A demon from my past that will never leave me alone.
Especially because moths love light, and there's like no light up in there.
Right?
Yeah, interesting.
Unless, I mean,
If it's a
never mind. I'm not gonna
webtoon,
go. Huh?
in webtoons, if they have nudity, they make it like a bright light,
Oh yeah, that's
like
right.
the light sticks. Remember the joke that me and Lexi
Yeah.
always made?
God damn it. Okay. So we'll do the simple rundown of the history.
Mhm.
It was back in November of 1966, I believe was the first reported sighting of it in a
Mhm.
newspaper. Um, but I believe, sorry, I spaced for a second. There may have there, but there was like sighting of him a little bit before that,
Mm-hmm.
from some gravediggers that were kind of in the nearby area.
Like legitimate grave diggers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
for sure.
you know, it's I don't know why. Like
Was he like scaring them off?
I not really. He just kind of
Also, just so
like
we're
flew
clear,
above him.
I am going to be referring to Mothman as though he is real because I am a believer.
Oh yeah, no, he is definitely real.
He's 100% real.
um, I also just discovered a new picture to add to the things I'm sending you, so that's
Excellent.
cool. Um, so yeah, like the gravediggers, he just kind of like flew over them as they were doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, since they were doing something illegal, they didn't want to like immediately say anything.
Right.
Um, but some couples that were driving around in what is referred to as the TNT area, um, because it's where we did a lot of mining for things to go towards bomb
Right.
creation.
Right.
Um, it had been shut down prior to that, and just an open area, long straight roads and whatnot. So they were like racing and driving recklessly because they were able to, and claimed that this giant flying creature was flying after them and scratched my car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then after that, I'm trying to remember right here. Uh, oh no, I lost it. Okay. The This year in December of '67, people claim to have seen the Mothman before the Silver Bridge collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
That connects West Virginia to Ohio.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crosses the Ohio River,
Yeah.
um, which was a very popular. Uh, it was a busy route of traffic because um, people would go commute over into Iowa for work and what, or Ohio, not Iowa, commute into Ohio for work and vice versa and whatnot. Um, so 46, 46 people had died in that, and that gave a little bit more. People claiming to have seen Mothman gave a little bit more to the story of him being a like a prophet, not a prophet. Well, kind of prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Of like things happen or like disasters happening. Um, but those are the main instances of him in West Virginia. Um, but that didn't stop him from being people claiming to have seen him in places like yeah, that was a nice straight picture of his ass. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking up like the statue and they've got a mini golf place. It's so funny.
ooh,
Anyways.
I would go to Mothman mini golf. That
Yeah,
looks
me
amazing.
too.
Um, but there's been references of him showing up in like New York and uh, other nearby, like
Chicago had a
northeastern.
sighting, actually.
Yes, Chicago did have a sighting,
Mm-hmm.
um, and couple sightings actually, like around the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some, I'm just going to say, rip this band-aid off really quick because people associate him with um, being the foreshadowing of something bad happening. People claim to have seen Mothman on 9/11 and say that he did that also. It's a little rude of him, but
I'm gonna I'm
or
gonna
not him, but
save
people.
I'm gonna save my thought for after the podcast, but please remind me of this comment.
Okay,
Okay.
like I don't know. I don't like the slander being put onto him. Uh,
Me neither. I don't respect it, but I do have a funny joke.
there is also claiming in 1999 that he foreshadowed a Russian bombing of an apartment building.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fun.
like overseas or here?
Russia,
Yeah, well, I
like
figured.
in Moscow.
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about like another terrorist attack or if you were talking about like in a different country. But that's crazy. So he's been seen worldwide.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he has cross
He's
borders and ocean.
international.
Yeah, he is a superstar.
He is a yeah,
Um,
Mr. Worldwide,
but
if you will.
God, um, but alongside of Mothman, there was around the same time period, there was stories and sightings of a man called Cold. Now, here's where I get to do my person with a fun name, Woodrow Derenberger.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
I knew it.
he uh, he claimed to have met this man who came out of essentially something that looked. I think he referred to it as like one of those old-fashioned kerosene lamps,
Mm-hmm.
like sideways.
Right.
Um, so essentially, dude in a suit who just smiles a lot comes out, talks to him, and he claims to have had multiple interactions with him, gets like television interviews and whatnot, have, and eventually ends up learning, besides just being called Cold, that people refer to him as Injured Cold,
Mm-hmm.
or his name is Injured Cold, which then there's a whole slew of stories and whatnot of like Woodrow going into his ship with him and going to like his, you know, going to like his planet or like a secret base on the other side of the moon. Like there's just a whole thing of like alien activity,
Yeah.
but a lot of things started combining the two of combining or using Injured Cold and Mothman in the same kind of story
Mm-hmm.
that maybe they are one and the same, maybe they are connected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
um he I think the first main uh evidence of this is, there we go, the movie The Mothman Prophecies that I just sent you. That was from 2002.
Yes.
It is based
That
on a
must
book
be
of the same name.
director.
And
Leading actor.
do what?
Oh. The picture of the guy is the leading actor. Richard Gere.
Richard Gere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like at the time, big name actor. Like
Mm-hmm.
he still has a good amount of fame going for him. Um,
I
so
love this movie.
I don't think I've actually watched it, and it makes me sad.
We should watch it. We picked it up when we went to go um to see the Mothman statue and go to the museum and everything. They had this on sale and we picked it up and watched it. Me and my family.
Hell yeah. But yeah, they, you know, this movie had the connection of Indrid Cold and Mothman
Yeah.
together. Um, and a more recent version of that is from where's my picture? There's my picture. Da, 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 da. We've got this is the picture of Mothman the Wise from Fallout 76 that takes place in West Virginia. That also has a rendition of the Mothman Museum and occasionally has a event called the Mothman Equinox.
Wait, I love that.
Um, Unfortunately, I started playing it like towards the end of it, and I didn't have the ADHD hyperfixation to knock that out before it ended. Um, but the way people, it's not directly connected in the game
Hmm.
or mentioned in the game, um, but there, I think during the first Equinox event or one of them, Injured Cold got put in as a random encounter.
Oh, that's fun.
And I think if you attack him, he has a similar, uh, like, effect about him that Mothman does when you attack Mothman.
Hmm.
So they kind of like move around similarly and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, so that's why. So that also adds on to, oh hey, maybe they're one and the same kind of thing.
Right.
Um, and then yeah, I have a bunch of different references that have yeah of Mothman in popular culture.
Okay.
Um, so first we've got this is a favorite of some friends to send me memes of. Um, but we got this first one. This is Mothman from the Shin Megami Tensei series or
So
Persona.
cute.
Uh, he he's a simple little dude,
He's
but also
adorable.
goes to show you his international influence because Shin Megami Tensei is a Japanese-made video game,
Hmm.
um, but also is very like they seem to have stuck to like the original like design or description of him.
Hmm.
Like doesn't really have a neck, mainly just wings and legs. They didn't take their own creative liberties like Fallout did with their Mothmen that are literally just giant moths.
Hmm.
Um, we have there's it's been different mentions and appearances in TV shows also, like the X Files.
Yeah.
He gets mentioned, um, but Agent Mulder also kind of does something like similar to the Mothman Prophecies movie, and
Hmm.
refers to Mothmen instead of just Mothman,
Right.
implying that there's more than one. Um, there's a handful of shows like Monster Quest and Lost Tapes that do the long tradition of hey, let's make a TV show where we try finding cryptids.
Hmm.
Um, there's uh, I got tripped up on my tabs here. Oh yeah, there's one I found that is from a weird, not a weird. I think I watched. Well, okay, I can't say it's not weird because I watched it. Like I watch a lot of things that I'm me. Um, there's a show. Oh no, I wasn't able to put it on this playlist, was I? Sorry, I need to dig up the name of the show.
uh, do you know what the premise of it was?
Okay, so it was a early 2000s cartoon that got played on like 4Kids, uh, like that channel.
Okay.
Ah, here it is. Martin Mystery.
Martin Mystery.
Yes, there is a whole episode of this show where it's essentially your usual like, hey, this random teenager works for a secret government agency for some reason, and
One of those.
he hunts down mysterious things that are going on. Um, and there is an episode called Attack of the Mothman
Oh,
where
nice.
they like some scientists were doing some weird experiments on someone and turned them into a moth monster that was seeking revenge on them.
Nice.
Um, and I watched through the episode when we first started talking about this. Uh, and I definitely remember watching the show as a kid. It wasn't the most like solidified thing, but I definitely remember seeing it.
Hmm.
Um, then there's so many different references of him. There's a handful of video game references besides Fallout 76.
Hmm.
Uh, like one, I guess this goes along into like being able to find Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but allegedly there's a Mothman somewhere in there also.
Yeah, they used to say you could, like if you tried hard enough, you could spot him like in the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. I think that falls under the Bigfoot myth that like,
Yeah.
oh hey, if you go to the mountain, you can find him. Um, oh, this one's kind of cute. Okay, this I wasn't sure if I was going to mention this one, but he's too cute not to mention. Let me,
So,
send you-
Gib Gib.
this is
Is that from
a
Castlevania?
it is from Castlevania.
Oh, he's adorable.
Yeah, like I don't know why Castlevania has like
I didn't know that Mothman was. It's funny because you can tell it's Castlevania just from the art, but.
yeah, it's from one of the Nintendo DS entries of the game. Um,
Oh, I knew about this. It's from Dawn of Sorrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, but that was I think that was pretty cool. There's a couple of card game uh entries of Mothman or versions of Mothman. I don't know why I said entries. That seemed weird. Um,
um. Oh my god.
we have the Magic the Gathering collaboration.
That's incredible.
This one I didn't know was real, but this is a
No way. I need this
uh-huh.
card. I
Yep,
need this card.
there's a Yu-Gi-Oh card of Mothman.
I need
Um,
it.
this is a this
Look
is
at
a
his
card
attack.
from
It was his attack 1800.
this card is from a Kickstarter card game called MetaZoo.
I love this.
Um, there's also one for uh, sorry, the picture's a little crappy because I had to zoom in a little bit, but there's also one for Mr.
Oh,
Cold.
I see, I see, I see.
Um, So yeah, those are. Oh, and I remember one of my before I get to my really out of left field reference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there is also don't know why these things are so hard. There is Mothman from Watchmen.
Yeah, Byron mm,
Yeah, Byron.
Lewis?
Yes,
Yes.
that sounds correct.
This one I knew.
Um, and also not completely. This one's a little kinda. This is the Killer Moth, who is a Batman villain.
Oh, nice.
Probably didn't, given the style of the like issue.
Probably not based off of, but
Well, I'd also say maybe came out around the time like the incident happened, so like maybe didn't want to, like it either came
be
out
insensitive.
before like people saw him, or yeah, didn't want, like, surprisingly didn't want to be insensitive of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
tragedy.
right.
Um, the last little reference that I'm going to contribute here is um, hmm,
Oh, because
this is
yeah, this one I knew. I was going to bring it up if you didn't actually.
yeah, I honestly forgot about it because it's been so long. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
hate this picture. But Dib from Invader Zim
Mm-hmm.
goes by Agent Mothman in his little secret society.
The swollen eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that is,
That is Mothman.
yeah, definitely didn't mean to go as heavy on the pop culture references, but
I mean, he is
for
kind of like a pop culture icon now.
I mean, yeah, like I feel like it would do him a little bit of injustice not to mention like how popular he has become,
Right.
especially overseas and whatnot, with like Castlevania and the Persona Shin Megami series having him as a reference and whatnot.
Right. Did you know that along with the Mothman sighting and the bridge collapse, it also was a sighting of the Men in Black?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's what kind of helped with the injured Colt thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh hey, this this possible alien and Mothman have been appearing, and the Men in Black are here. Hmm,
Hmm.
coincidence or connection?
Yeah. Um yeah, I thought it was interesting cuz like we when we went to the museum, um the Men in Black thing was like its own little section in the museum. It had like this huge thing about how when the bridge collapsed, there were like a whole bunch of people who claimed that there were two men dressed in all black, with sunglasses on at the scene, that had all of these like interesting um, gadgets or whatever. And there was even a woman who suggested that they erased her memory.
Nice.
And it should be said that this was long before the Men in Black movies were a thing. Like this is what led to the memory erase devices, that and the UFO sightings that obviously launched the Men in Black theory. But
Speaking of the museum,
mm-hmm.
I
Want to go?
really,
It's not worth the money.
I would, I don't even care. I would go. Um, I would spend an entire weekend in Point Pleasant. I really do not care.
We could do that. I would be down to do that.
Um, But I also love that the museum sells their merchandise online,
Oh yeah.
and they got some pretty good like products and whatnot. Got some good posters, some patches.
Mm-hmm.
They sell beanies.
Yeah, there is something from the Mothman Museum that I super want. Let me see if I can pull it up and I'll bring the screen back up. Um, because I think it would just be super dope. Yes. Where is it? They have a whole bunch of other cryptid stuff too.
Are
They
you talking about
also,
like patches?
yeah, they have like patches, magnets,
Yeah,
keychains, like of all of the different. Also, did you know we should go when they have the Mothman Festival
yeah.
because that would be sick.
I also want to go hunting for Flatwoods monsters.
Oh, that would be fun. Okay, they do it. Okay, so this is technically Fallout 76 merch.
Ah, yeah.
I want this mug.
Oh, the mug.
I want this mug so bad.
Yeah,
It's so
that's a sick
cool.
mug.
I also want like the poster because it's just such a cool design.
Yeah, I just realized that was like one of the last things I sent you on Discord. Just the image of that poster.
Yeah,
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 no, the cult of Mothman is how I will spend the apocalypse.
yes. The Mothman search team beanie is another contender.
Hmm.
I think that's very cool. But they just like, dude, they stuck Mothman on everything.
Yeah,
Escape
and I like
room.
literally. Oh yeah, they have an escape room now.
Oh, we've got to
Like
do
that.
it.
Um, I there's a
Oh,
Mothman tour. Well, you have to do that too. Oh my God.
oh God, yeah.
Um,
I like how it's just a picture of a van.
yeah, it's like this looks sketchy, but
So sophisticated, Mothman Museum.
literally the next time anyone is like, "Oh, hey, what do you want for your birthday or for Christmas?" I'm sending them this link. I don't even care.
I don't give a shit what you get me, but if it's from the site, I would love that.
Like it's like I don't even care if people send me the duplicate of a shirt. I've got more than one now. I'm happy.
Exactly.
Also, there is something on here I didn't see the last time, and it is a knockoff Lego set
Oh my god.
that is pretty amazing. What the hell is that?
It's an adorable cartoon Mothman.
Oh my God.
Wait, I want this too. Mothman coffee, Mothman hot sauce,
Oh,
Mothman. Oh my god.
yes.
Mothman hot
Huh?
sauce.
Is
Wait,
this on the website?
it's all on the website. Yeah, it's in
Oh
novelty
yeah,
stuff.
okay.
I want this. There's a okay, wait, hold on. Let me just pull the screen back up because I feel like I need to so here's everything that I want for those out there who maybe feel like nice enough to No, I'm just kidding, but um I want the Mothman coffee so bad now. I want to try it. I also want the hot sauce. I think that's hysterical. I love the hunting permit. That's so funny to me. Um
I like these little, like the red-eyed Mothman doll.
Yeah, this is adorable. I could probably make this, but I want it. I also want this. Dude, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. That's
Which one?
adorable. The blue ear pillow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's adorable. Oh my god, tactical unit, real military dog tag. Well, it's just math, man. That's so funny.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like Mothman is like,
Dude, he's a lifestyle.
yeah, like he's pure. Like he's the best, one of the best like cryptids.
The
You know.
Mothman cometh.
Um, though recently also there was a another pop culture reference, I guess, of him
Mm-hmm.
in a Dropout TV show called Smarty Pants.
Yeah.
He is not. He was deemed not good to toke with,
Ah, yes.
um,
Well,
and as someone who people refer to as Mothman and has had bad toke sessions with people, can confirm not good to do that with.
Not a good toker.
Nope.
Maybe is pretty bad with tequila too, off that logic. Just saying.
All right.
Anything else for us on Mothman?
Oh, the hot sauce is sold out.
Damn.
I was literally about to click add to cart.
You know what? We're growing peppers in our garden. I will make my own Mothman hot sauce.
Honestly, it'd be cool if it was possible to make a hot sauce that was like,
dude,
that was like a super delayed reaction.
Yeah, like a creeper.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make cryptid hot sauce. I'm gonna this is gonna be my thing now. I'm gonna make cryptid themed hot sauce. Veda's cryptozoological whatever. Veda's cryptozoology, yes. Veda's cryptozoology hot sauce.
I'd buy it.
Yes.
Like depending on how many you make, like sell them individually, sell them in a package.
100%. I need to come up with like witty names for them, like shit. Mothman Pepper Sea instead of Prophecy.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Bigfoot Loch Ness.
Blur your vision, Bigfoot.
What?
Blur your vision, Bigfoot.
Blur your vision, Bigfoot sounds incredible.
It sounds like a terrifying hot sauce to consume. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing: is like just due to trademark or copyright, well, we won't call them specifically the cryptid names, right? We'll call it like Pepper Sea, and then we'll have like our the Mothman will be hidden in the that. Okay, hear me out. Okay.
Okay.
I know you love it when I start with "hear me out," so I'm gonna.
Mm-hmm.
We hide them in the labels. We call them things like Blur Your Vision and Pepper Sea, and we hide the fucking cryptids on the label.
All right. And kind of like that, kind of like what's like the like pictures or like initial images of.
We call the Loch Ness one In Deep Water. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
There you go.
All right, it's cooking. We're cooking.
Got 3 knocked like right there.
three off the Jersey Devil. We just call it Hoboken.
just call it Jersey.
Just call it Jersey.
People will understand.
Yeah.
Especially from New York.
Yeah. I can't think of any. Chupacabra. I actually have no idea. I could not tell you anything related to Chupacabra that we could call hot sauce.
Blood sucking. The lose your lamb. I don't.
I couldn't tell you, but we will work on it. So keep your eyes peeled for a future sponsor of the podcast. Veda's Cryptot hot. I am doing really well right now.
Struggling real hard on cryptozoology.
Dude, I can't. Cryptozoology is a word, all right?
Yeah, that's fair. I hate when it's turned into like cryptozoological or whatever.
Cryptozoology. Fuck it.
Yep.
Fuck it.
That's not worth it.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today to talk about some cryptids. Thanks for coming on, D.vo.
You're welcome.
And we will see you guys next time. No teaser, because as you guys know, the last week of the month is always a League podcast with Chalky. So I will leave it at that, but I also will say that you might be able to find the answer as to what the topic is up in the stars, if anything's up there. But remember, as always, keep it real, but keep it curious. Goodbye.
Bye.